guys, it's Sarah and today is BookList Thursday. This is a book series that Lisa from Books and Smiles and I have created together, and each week we come up with a list that we are going to give you some books or topics or whatever it is that we feel like talking to you guys about. So this week we are talking about authors that we have broken up with. Because that happens. You know, as readers, you kind of fall into your comfort zones. You find authors that you absolutely adore and you read everything that they write. And then you try some authors that you just don't quite mesh well together, or you just don't enjoy the writing, or you don't enjoy their stories, or, you know, for whatever reason. So I do have a list of 5 authors that I have broken up with officially. I do also have some authors that are kind of on the fence for me. I'm not going to talk about those quite yet because I haven't officially broken up with them, but those are going to be saved for my last call series. But there are some that I have 100% officially said, it's not you, it's me, but it's also kind of you. The first one, speaking of my last call series, is Emily Giffen. And Emily Giffen, I started reading her when we lived in Tucson, and I read 2 of her books and I read them back to back. I read Something Borrowed and Something Blue. Absolutely loved them. And from there, I started buying all of her books. I was kind of collecting them, but not really reading them. So they were just sitting there collecting dust. So earlier this year, I decided to give her another shot and see if I still liked her writing and, you know, see what I thought. And I ended up reading one book of hers called Baby Proof that I read, and I did not enjoy it. I gave it 2 stars. And then I tried her latest book, which is called First Comes Love, and I ended up DNFing that book, not even halfway through. So officially, Emily Giffen and I have broken up, and I think it's just because her writing is good. I enjoy her writing style, but the stories are just not really all that much for me, and I just feel like they're very, very forgettable. The last one, First Comes Love, was just so dramatic, and I felt like it was very over the top and unnecessary. So I was kind of, you know, if I'm going to read drama, I want like realistic drama. The second author I've broken up with is actually kind of funny because she writes one of my favorite books of all time. That is Lauren Weisberger. She wrote The Devil Wears Prada, and that is one of my favorite books of all time. I've read it twice. I would probably read it again just, you know, for nostalgic sake, but I absolutely love that book. And everything I read since then, though, I have not enjoyed and I have not remembered. So she's another one that's just very middle of the road. And, you know, when I read her other books, they weren't that great, and I don't remember them. I really don't. So very forgettable. I don't really want to spend my time reading books that I'm going to forget really quickly. And it was just so strange though, because I absolutely love The Devil Wears Prada. It's one of my favorite books of all time, but everything else since then has been a dud. Another one is Charlene Harris, and Charlene Harris wrote the Sookie Stackhouse Vampire series, which is what the show True Blood was based on. I absolutely love those books. I devoured them. I read the entire series. I absolutely loved them. I loved the show too. They were very different. And I was a big Eric Northman groupie. But Charlene has written quite a few different series, and they're all kind of like urban fantasy like that. They have some sort of paranormal element to them. And I, you know, tried a couple of them and just never really got very far. And I just kind of fell off of the fan wagon for that one. But yeah, I think like I'm good with Sookie Stackhouse. I really, really loved them. And then everything else I tried just for me personally didn't really measure up to that. And I think I was comparing it, which isn't totally fair on my part, but that's just kind of how I did it. So everything else that I read, I just wasn't super impressed with. Like they were fine, but just not something I wanted to spend an entire series reading. So I broke up with Charlene. Another one that is fairly recent is Sarah Dessen, and I have read 2.5 of her books, I believe, or maybe 3. I don't remember. I know I read Just Listen, and I read The Truth About Forever, and then I tried to read Dreamland, which I ended up DNFing halfway through. And I think that might have been it. I don't know if there was another one or not. So yeah. Yeah, Sarah Dessen is just another just YA contemporary, and I'm forgetting her books, and when I do read them, they're fine. They're not amazing, mind-blowing, oh my gosh, this story is going to stick with me for a while. It's, you know, the next week I kind of forget about them. And when I DNF'd Dreamland, that was when I decided I was going to break up with her because I thought it was terrible. I really, really did. It was just, you know, the fake drama and this is all in your head, honey. Why are you worrying about something this stupid type thing? So sometimes when there is drama that I think is stupid, sometimes I can still understand why that character would feel that way, but this one was just like, no, it's stupid. And my last one is going to be a blast from the past, you guys. I have not read one of her books in years, and I'm talking like at least 10 years I have not read a book by this author, but she's still writing them. But this is an author that I read a lot from when I kind of really started getting into reading and book collecting. I wanted to buy all of her books. I even went around to used bookshops and I was buying every single one. I had a list in my purse and I knew what I needed to get and I wanted to read all of her books. It's a life goal. There's no way, guys. There's no way. But that author is Danielle Steel. I loved her books. I'm talking like, I loved them. I fell in love with them. And she was definitely part of getting me into reading as a habit for sure. But now, like, no. Number one, she's still writing. Like she puts out 2 or 3 books a year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is still going. Good for her. But I don't know how I would feel if I read one of her books now. I remember one of my favorite books that I read from her was Star. And I wonder if I went back and reread that now, how I would feel about it. That could be a fun little project. I might do something like that just to kind of see and see how I react to them as an adult, because this was back when I was in college is when I was really reading her books and wanting to, you know, own all of them and everything. So I wonder now that, you know, I'm 39, if I would react the same way to them or if I would read it and go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I don't really know. So something I've been thinking about though, I might actually go back and reread maybe the one that I remember being my favorite and just kind of see what all the hype was for me. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Those are the only ones I could come up with just because I didn't want to talk about authors I'm unsure about still because I'm not completely done with them yet. I want to give them another shot. But let me know down below if you guys have broken up with any authors. Let me know who they are. Let me know why. Let me know if any of them are similar to mine or the same as mine. Or let me know if you don't break up with authors. That's perfectly fine too. I think that's great. So yeah, leave me all those details down below and please go check out Lisa's video as well. I can't wait to see who she talks about and I will talk to you guys again later. Have a great day. Bye.